Hello everybody, it's me again, and I am now going to read from my lovely book, The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard. I love this book, it's so good. Just read it over and over again, and so much wisdom in all the lines. And I haven't read this for a while. It's Chapter 3, The Power of Assumption. But since the other clips were about assuming, and I hope everybody's been assuming the best for themselves, I thought this might be relevant. So I'm just going to read a bit and then stop every now and then and chip in if I have anything to say. So let's begin without further ado. Okay, the power of assumption. Man's chief delusion is his conviction that there are causes other than his own state of consciousness. All that befalls a man, all that is done by him, all that comes from him happens as a result of his state of consciousness. That's something that we often forget or choose to not remember in our everyday life when we have complaints. Because if you have a complaint about something not going the way you want it to, or somebody said something about you or not done what you want, then you're not really following his teachings, are you? And we all do it sometimes, because everything comes from us. And so we can't, if we believe that, we can't really blame anybody or anything. We can't blame any circumstances of our life. We have to take full responsibility. And I find when something just happens, it's reassuring to have a bit of a moan and complain about somebody or something. But then, because we're human beings, if you don't need to do that, that's really good. And sometimes you can bypass all that. But other times we get caught up in it all, don't we? Caught up in objective reality. So I would say, have your moan, don't attach too much strong feeling to it. And then click back into the spiritual way of thinking, realizing that there is some reason for it, and you've been imagining something, and this is part of it, and you don't know what it is yet, but there's always something good that comes out of all situations, and it's important to always look for that. And that's something that Napoleon Hill says in his book. What was it? The seed. In every adversity, there's a seed of an equivalent benefit in every adversity. And when some things have gone badly wrong for me and it's caused me a lot of anxiety, I've been in that for a bit. And just knowing that it has to come from me ultimately doesn't necessarily help at the time. It's like you've got to come through it to a certain degree, but it's there. It's in the back of your mind. It's there for me anyway. I know there must be some reason for it, and that's very stabilizing when things are going wrong. But you need to gather a bit of strength before you can really live that, because sometimes circumstances can be very tough and not so easy to just dismiss like that. So don't beat yourself up. As soon as you are gaining strength, as I said, and gathering yourself again, remember that everything comes from the source within you. And don't blame yourself. don't think, oh, I must have imagined something that was really bad. Not necessarily. It could be that you're imagining for your dream, and this is going to take you there in some strange way that you don't know yet, because God moves in mysterious ways. And not blaming God either, because you think, oh, well, why did you choose this way? Too much suffering. There's a reason for everything. And in suffering, you do draw closer to God eventually, because he's all you've got. Nobody can really relieve you of it when it's bad. You've just got to go through it, and you become a stronger person and develop more when you go through it, and nobody escapes it. And so I'm not wishing suffering on anybody, not at all. I'm wishing a lot of support to people when they go through it. But as human beings, all of us experience suffering. Sometimes it's very small suffering, just irritations of life. And other times it's really difficult and great sorrow. And so we've just got to find ways of getting through it that work best for us. And for me, it's clinging to God in those times, and just really putting all my faith in him, trusting in him that he knows better than me. I can't see what's really going on, so I just have to trust. And that really helps me. And then things get easier, and I always think, well, it's coming from the source, and it'll be okay in the end. This too will pass. That's a good one. So I've really gone off for a long time on that one, but I think it's important. So let me know what your thoughts are on that. Anyway, so back to the text. A man's consciousness is all that he thinks and desires and loves, all that he believes is true and consents to. That is why a change of consciousness is necessary before you can change your outer world. That's the changing your self-concept, and then your environment should change eventually. Rain falls as a result of a change in the temperature in the higher regions of the atmosphere. So in like manner, a change of circumstance happens as a result of a change in your state of consciousness. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. To be transformed, the whole basis of your thoughts must change. Oh, read that wrongly. To be transformed, the whole basis of your thoughts must change. But your thoughts cannot change unless you have new ideas. For you think from your ideas. That's good, isn't it? So, let's see. Yeah, new ideas, thinking from your new ideas. So you're seeing yourself as a slightly different person, and you're having new ideas and thinking from them. And things have already changed to how you want them to be. So you're thinking from that new state of consciousness, that new environment, new life, your new life, you're thinking from that. So, yeah, you've got to change everything. You've got to, if you're imagining yourself having more money, you've got the money now. So you might be thinking of what you want to buy, making plans for what you want to do. And there'll be plans which are really unlimited if you have a massive amount of money. Yeah, lots of things like that, and it's a good use of the imagination, isn't it? You can really go wild with that one. So it's not just about living in the feeling of, well, you are living in the feeling of the wish fulfilled by doing this, but you're actually thinking from it as well. So try and remember that you're thinking from it, not just feeling. What else? All transformation begins with an intense burning desire to be transformed. You've got to really want it. Oh, here we go. You must want to be different before you can begin to change yourself. So you really got to have that strong desire. I really want to be that person as well, not too relaxed, really. Then you must make your future dream a present fact. You do this by assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled. By desiring to be other than what you are, you can create an ideal of the person you want to be and assume that you are already that person. If this assumption is persisted in until it becomes your dominant feeling, the attainment of your ideal is inevitable. Did you notice how I emphasized those words? Dominant feeling. I'm assuming here that it's very important to be in that feeling as much as possible, not just chopping and changing all the time, and it's a feeling of real confidence and relaxed confidence and faith that you've done it, and keep on dipping in and out of it during the day. I know sometimes it's hard to maintain it, especially when you have things to do at work, but as soon as you remember, you go back into it. Just carry it around. Okay. The ideal you hope to achieve is always ready for an incarnation, but unless you yourself offer it human parentage, it is incapable of birth. Therefore, your attitude should be one in which, having desired to express a higher state, you alone accept the task of incarnating this new and greater value of yourself. In giving birth to your ideal, you must bear in mind that the methods of mental and spiritual knowledge are entirely different. This is a point that is truly understood by probably not more than one person in a million. Wow. You know a thing mentally by looking at it from the outside, by comparing it with other things, by analysing it and defining it, whereas you can know a thing spiritually only by becoming it. You must be the thing itself and not merely talk about it or look at it. You must be like the moth in search of his idol, the flame, who, spurred with true desire, plunging at once into the sacred fire, folded his wings within, till he became one colour and one substance with the flame. He only knew the flame who in it burned, and only he could tell who ne'er to tell returned. Oh, that's beautiful. Just as the moth in his desire to know the flame was willing to destroy himself, so must you, in becoming a new person, be willing to die to your present self. That's very profound, isn't it? So to go back to the idea of knowing a thing spiritually, you have to become it. You've got to feel it, feel what it would be like. That's very close with empathizing over somebody. When they are maybe feeling bad and you empathize and you're trying to imagine how they feel. So that's a very spiritual thing that's taking place. So spiritually, you've got to become the thing. It's very much about using your imagination. And I always find that helps very much to understand, much more than, well, the mental part is important too. Analysing things, and it's like the coordinates of a map, and you're getting some kind of grip on certain aspects of the thing you want to understand. But it's more about facts, isn't it? And when you are understanding a thing spiritually, it's just about becoming it. Feeling it is becoming it. So that's what you have to do. You've got to become the thing you want to be. And as it says at the end, you've got to die to your old self. That's quite sad in a way, isn't it? But you're letting go of, you're not letting go of your essence, of who you really are, the I am within you, but you're just letting go of a concept that doesn't work for you anymore, that, it's outdated. It doesn't serve you anymore. So you need to find the new concept, imagine it, become it, and that is going to bring you your dream. Just getting the light going again. So keep that in mind. Be willing to die to your present self. And the first thing you have to do is imagine the new concept of self. And imagine yourself thinking from it. Feel what it would feel throughout the day. And just become it. Become it in as many situations as you can. Like, for example, at work. I said this in another clip, but just... Oh, sorry. Sorry to who? Like, if you want to become a more confident person, more relaxed person, you've got to practice it. Otherwise, it will happen if you're imagining it. It's just going to start happening. But if you practice it, it's going to come quicker. So just set the intention at the beginning of the day, like I am confident, and I'm going to practice this. Whenever I speak to somebody, I'm not going to speak to them in an arrogant way, but just with this air of confidence. And I just take a deep breath and just speak a bit slower, be calmer, make a joke. Think about, what does that look like? And I'm going to do that today. And then practice something else the next day. And you'll start to become it. But you're not going to become it unless you practice it. So whether that's consciously or unconsciously. So try it. It might work. I'm going to tomorrow. You must be conscious of being healthy if you are to know what health is. You must be conscious of being secure if you are to know what security is. Therefore, to incarnate a new and greater value of yourself, you must assume that you already are what you want to be, and then live by faith in this assumption, which is not yet incarnate in the body of your life, in confidence that this new value or state of consciousness will become incarnated through your absolute fidelity to the assumption that you are that which you desire to be. Absolute fidelity. Because if you're thinking, I'm assuming, and you're not believing it completely, it's not really an assumption, is it? Assumption is just, it's true. It's true. And to practice that, say it's a fact afterwards. Just be like, I am confident. It's a fact. I know I'm confident. It's a fact. You can write down some I ams about your new personality, I suppose, your new concept of self. And say them under your breath throughout the day or in your head. And just be like, it's a fact, And just keep on driving those assumptions in till you believe them completely and you are it. Not just assuming that you've achieved your dream, but assuming characteristics for yourself, for the new concept. I am successful. It's a fact. I do feel completely self-confident, actually, and I don't think many people would say I was. So I've got to change that, change how my environment perceives me. But if people say at work would think, no, she's not that self-confident, it would be because I don't often speak up in a group. I've got this thing about group situations. I'm okay one-to-one or a few people. Or maybe if they were friends and I had a drink, I'd be fine, no problem. But when it's like meetings at work, it's okay actually. Once I've got started, I'm fine. But it's that taking the first step. I find it really hard. And I've got this unfortunate habit of blushing sometimes. And I don't help myself because I wear loads of layers of clothes. So it's just slight. And then it's like it gets trapped and I go really red. And I don't want anybody to be seeing any signs of embarrassment. So I'd rather not open my mouth. So that's one of my many problems. Well, one of my main problems of self-confidence. And it's really a problem of being self-conscious. But actually, when I was thinking the other day, what is self-confidence? Well, for me anyway, it's not about behaving a certain way or being able to speak in front of people very confidently or whatever. It's believing that I have, like I said in that clip about self-confidence, I have all the power I need within me to achieve anything I want. And I truly believe that. I truly believe that. And so I'm completely confident in myself, in my ability to I suppose to eventually manifest. I know everything has a certain time frame. You never know when it's going to happen. And the only thing I think that would stop me would be my own laziness, which I have to deal with. Because maybe some things take a while and you can easily lose your persistence in your assumptions. So you need to become more self-disciplined. I need to become more self-disciplined. And sometimes I just have a difficulty with getting down to working on my dreams. I don't know why. I don't know. Because I actually like it. Maybe it's just a fear of actually succeeding. I don't know. So that's something I have to work out for myself. But I'm sure you have things that you need to work on too. But if you believe that you have the power within you, you are doing a lot better than the average person. Because most people don't even believe this, and they feel at the mercy of the external world. But if you think that anything can be achieved, if you can imagine it and feel it and assume it, then you're going to do it. And every time you do it and you notice things coming into your world that you've imagined first, that's going to increase your self-confidence. And that's a beautiful thing, isn't it? So I say do the self-confidence formula, imagining yourself on the outside as being confident and feeling it too. And that is believing in the power within you. So that's all going in. That's great. And then what's going to make you more confident is when you become more aware of things coming into your world that you've already imagined. And taking note of that and thinking, yeah, that was from me, consciously, it's working. And it'll just get better and better. That's how I see it. Anyway. That's how I imagine it to be. So anyway, I will get back to it because I've started talking again, as I do. Sorry, I can't help it. I was talking about fidelity, absolute fidelity to the assumption that you are what you desire to be. Absolute faith. This is what wholeness means, what integrity means. They mean submission of the whole self to the feeling of the wish fulfilled, in certainty that that new state of consciousness is the renewing of mind which transforms. Renew your mind. I'm losing my eyes. Sorry about that, people. So renew your mind. The renewing of your mind is the living in the new state, living in the new concept of self. There is no order in nature corresponding to this willing submission of the self to the ideal beyond the self. Therefore, it is the height of folly to expect the incarnation of a new and greater concept of self to come about by natural evolutionary process. That which requires a state of consciousness to produce its effect obviously cannot be effected without such a state of consciousness, and in your ability to assume the feeling of a greater life, to assume a new concept of yourself, you possess what the rest of nature does not possess: imagination, the instrument by which you create your world. Your imagination is the instrument, the means whereby your redemption from slavery, sickness, and poverty is effected. If you refuse to assume the responsibility of the incarnation of a new and higher concept of yourself, then you reject the means, the only means whereby your redemption, that is, the attainment of your ideal, can be effected. Imagination is the only redemptive power in the universe. However, your nature is such that it is optional to you whether you remain in your present concept of yourself, a hungry being longing for freedom, health and security, or choose to become the instrument of your own redemption, imagining yourself as that which you want to be, and thereby satisfying your hunger and redeeming yourself. Oh, be strong then, and brave, pure, patient, and true. The work that is yours, let no other hand do, for the strength for all need is faithfully given from the fountain within you, the kingdom of heaven. So lovely. So I hope that inspired you. So we have the only redemptive power, the imagination within us, and we can use that power. We can change our lives to whatever we want it to be. And you better believe that. It's the truth. It's the truth. Don't waste any more time. Live in it. Read it in the morning. Read his work in the morning. Listen to him at night and do it. And you're going to have the riches on the inside become the riches on the outside. Although true riches is always on the inside. Always. We're rich. We can say confidently, I am rich. I am rich. I say that and I know it's true. I know it's true. Because I know that riches, true riches, is not money. It's not material objects. True riches is this power within me, and I know I've got it. And I'm so glad. I'm so glad I know. And it's God. And it's just so amazing that he lives within each one of us. God, the Holy Spirit, Jesus, the power within, the imagination, whatever you want to call it, it is that. And we all have it. All of us have it. And we can choose to consciously create our worlds or unconsciously create our worlds. And so probably most of us so far have been unconsciously creating our worlds, occasionally having some success there. But imagine if you could consciously create all of it. Be so good. And obviously have surprises and spontaneity coming from within that. But the basis of your world is from your imagination. So don't give up hope. If it hasn't already happened, keep going with it, and watch out for little things. I would also imagine little things that you want every day, not just massive things, because I don't know if smaller things are more likely to manifest quicker, but if you're imagining for a few things, you've got your dream, and then you're just thinking, I don't know. Like, I know Joseph Ally, he always imagines 3 cups of coffee. And that's a nice thing, isn't it? And then you get it and you're like, oh, I imagined it. But just stuff like that, small things. Do that as well. And look out for those things. Okay, I'm going to go now because I've gone over 30 minutes, quite a long one. I hope you liked it. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. And please subscribe and please like if you liked it. And all comments are read and appreciated. So please leave a comment. And good luck, even though there's no such thing as luck. All the best with your manifesting. Have a good week. Bye.